Hi everyone, I'm so glad to see all of you here. Welcome to the Connect the Dots web class for the Career Resilience, the Art of Staying in the Game coaching program. Now, if you have tried out or attempted to try out those things that you have learned throughout the coaching program, and especially those things that I've shared during the live event last week, I'm sure today you will have a lot of questions to raise. So the intention for this Connect the Dots web class is actually twofold. One is to show you how all these things that you have learned add up, and how are all those things that if you have put in place, how are they going to build your career resilient mode. And second thing is to clear up all the queries and all the questions that you may have while trying to build your own resilient mode. So today, this is what I'm going to cover. I'll be going through the key points recap. Hope you still can remember what are those. If not, then perhaps take this opportunity to refresh your memories. And the positive impacts you ought to notice if you have done it correctly. The next will be all those frequently expected challenges that if you have tried out, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm going to share with you how to deal with them. Then after that, I'll leave it open to the ground, and it's time for you to raise your questions, your burning questions, okay, and especially those that I didn't really get to cover during the frequently expected challenges module. Is that okay with you? So if you are ready, let's get started. Okay, the next thing is a little disclaimer here. Your level of success in attaining the results may be different from person to person. So if you really want to see good result, what is very important here is your level of understanding of the various fundamentals, concepts, and techniques that I've shared throughout the entire coaching program. Alright, and the time that you devote to really doing it. This is really key. If you don't do anything, I'm very pretty sure that your results, you won't be seeing any great achievement. Alright, so let's get started. This is what we're going to do a recap, and there are actually 9 areas that we'll do recap, and these 9 areas are those that I've already shared with you during the Quick Start web class and the live event. Okay, so let us do a quick one. Now, what is career resilience? I hope you still can remember. There are a lot of definitions about career resilience out there in the market. So I'm not saying that which one is correct, which one is wrong, but based on my experience helping out with my clients and who have been able to bounce back even stronger after their failure in life, this is a definition that I'll choose to use. So basically, career resilience is about choosing to take responsibility for your own career and growth, being agile, constantly evolve, and recovering from setbacks with new insights and personal growth. Now, this is the definition that I would subscribe to, and I hope you would, so that if you buy into this definition, you know what you're going to do, you know what I've shared with you are all gearing towards achieving this definition. So if you look at this definition, you'll find that those keywords that is being in bold are very important and critical. Alright, so let's take a quick look at this. Now, one of the keywords is choosing. It's all about choice. If you have noticed, your life is a result of the choices you have made. So if you don't like your life, start making better choices. It's the same for building career resilience. It's your choice whether you want to make that first step or not, or whether are you serious about enhancing your career resilience. Okay, it's about choice, it's about your choice. Right, the next one, taking responsibility means being at the driver's seat and creating the change, managing the change, and adjusting to the change incrementally. The keyword here is incrementally. While taking responsibility means being at the driver's seat, I don't expect you to do a 180-degree kind of change. That is too drastic. Okay, what I'm just asking you to do is just to make changes incrementally at your right pace. And being agile, constantly evolve, means you should be agile enough, you should be evolving fast enough to be able to anticipate risks, to be able to spot trends and turning them into opportunities, feeling comfortable with change, and at the same time having a sense of security in a constantly changing world. This is very important. Right now, if you have noticed, the way that this world has been changing is really so much at a faster pace than we used to experience. So to have a sense of security will help you think more properly and clearly. And if life really runs you down, you should be able to have the ability to start feeling better quickly. But that shouldn't happen because by then you should have already limit the damage during turbulence time. You should be able to absorb hard knocks already, and you should be able to regroup and bounce back faster and stronger than before. So basically, the key thing here is staying engaged in the midst of shifting challenges. Alright, so that is what, if you have tried out what I've shared with you, you should be gearing yourself towards all these attributes. So that part here, we've already covered the first portion, resiliency. What is resiliency? Okay, and if you can remember, actually things that you have experienced in life are actually the universal principles in disguise. So if you know the universal principles, the key one, there are many universal principles, but you need to know the key ones that really affect you and your career directly. Okay, if you can recall, number one, you know that all the universal principles are recorded in an ancient classic text called I Ching. Inside there is actually describing how nature and the universe work. So if you are really keen and interested, please do a research on this book. Otherwise, I'll just quickly run through the key universal principles that you ought to know. Number one, everything has a life cycle. It comes with the ups and it's down. Alright, so while you are doing well in your career, in your life, just be mindful that this is just a life cycle and it has its up and its down. So when you're on your way up, please also be mindful that it might come down when you reach the peak. Okay, and what do you have to do when it's really sliding back? Okay, so this is universal principle number one. Number two, like a coin, there are always two sides to every issue. This is yin and yang. So when you look at certain things, please do not look at it from a single side. Everything has two sides, the good and the bad. Basically, is what we call the yin side and the yang side. So the key thing is really to spend some time to look at the brighter side. Okay, since there are two sides, why do you want to choose to look at the not so good side? So this is how we can recover back quickly when we fall down. The next one is that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only be transferred or changed from one form to another. This is actually, if you know about the 5 elements, you know this comes from the 5 element cycle. So what it means is that whatever you are doing is actually an outcome of the things or of the choices that you have put in place earlier on. And that choices that you have made is actually an energy, and that energy has transformed and manifest in terms of the event and experience that you have gone through. So if you know this universal principle, then that is where from today onward you should know and be mindful that whatever energy that you push it out, you have to be mindful that how will this energy that you push out might ultimately take the form of that may come back to you. So on the same token, no winter lasts forever, no spring skips its turn. Also, no failure lasts forever, and no success skips its turn. So if you are really on your way down, please do not despair, because there will be a time where you can bounce back. So when that time comes, you want to be ready for it. Okay. So this is the universal principles that you should always remember, that will give you career resiliency kind of mindset in you. Okay, and with this, we have covered that part there, and we can move on to say that once you know these universal principles, whatever you're doing is actually trying to take that universal principles and make it take shape in a manner that you want it to take shape. So that is why I hope you have started building your own resilient mode. Now, when we talk about the resilient mode, we will be looking at this model. It's a 3-layered model. That is why it's a 3-step kind of a model that you can easily use. Anyone can easily use to build their own resilient mode. So I hope you can remember the first layer, which is the inner core. All right, is wearing the right hat, and to wear the right hat, you need to know the art of 9-6. I hope you can remember. Okay, so that is the first layer, which is the inner core, and that is a very important core. Next, the second layer is the wall of resilience, whereby you will have to find your power work desk, and then you have to power up. All right, so it works best if you know how to execute the art of 9-6, and then coupled with the power up work desk, you'll find tremendous results, okay, from it. Okay, trust me, go and do it, go and try out, and go and experience it yourself. Then the third layer is riding your time. Okay, riding your time, the wheel of time. All right, you have to know that based on your workspace layout and placement, what would be your good timing, what would be your not so good timing. And then once you know these two group of timing, what can you do in those years? So that puts you in the driver's seat, aren't you? All right, so this is the one, the resilient mode. All right, so with this, we covered the resilient mode model. Now let's move on to the first layer, which is the inner core. Remember the inner core, and it is the art of 9-6. Now the art of 9-6 is very, very important core of that model. So remember in the live event, I asked you about how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as a leader, or do you see yourself as a follower? All right, so I hope today you should be able to give me a very good answer. Okay, based on the principle like coin, there are always two sides to every issue. Each one of us, okay, each one of us is both a leader and a follower. We can't separate out these two roles. No one can. No one really can say that I'm a true blue leader, I'm a true blue follower. No, because at one point in time, you may be asked to lead a team. At one point in time, you may be asked to fall back and then just help out. Okay, help out the leader. So you need to know the phases they are in, which hat are you wearing, and at which phase, what should you do. Okay, so to help you, to guide you through this, you need to have a good understanding of these two hexagrams, the heaven hexagram and the earth hexagram. And these are the two key hexagrams among the 64 hexagrams in the book called I Ching. So if we look at the heaven hexagram, this is what it looks like. There are 6 lines which will guide you on the way to being a leader. All right, there are 6 lines there, means there are 6 phases that most leaders would go through. But do bear in mind that not everyone will go through the phases in a forward linear progression manner. Alright, some may skip a phase intentionally or unintentionally. Some may be derailed at any phase. Yes, it can happen. Some may be stuck at a phase and have difficulty progressing. Some may choose to cling on to a phase and not desiring to move on. Some I've seen move up and down the phases. Alright, so basically I hope for the past week you have discovered for your leadership phase, where are you right now, and are you behaving and executing the way of the dragon for your phase. Okay, if not, please incrementally adjust yourself. Alright, so really the key thing to riding these dragons, okay, is to use 9, meaning there is no dominant leader among the dragons. Alright, so please do not let any single dragons dominate the way you behave, dominate the way you lead. Alright, so if you are at phase 3, please execute phase 3 dragon. If you're at phase 5, please execute phase 5 dragon. And at all times, I've mentioned this many times, at all times please do not get yourself all the way up to the 6th line. Okay, 6th line is where that roller coaster, remember the up and down, is where that is the point of no return. Okay, once you cross that point, the tipping point I call it, means that you're going to start going down. So if you can, stay at line 5. Alright, now the next one, the way of the horse, which will guide you through how you should behave as a follower. Okay, similarly there are 6 lines, and I don't think I need to go through all this. You can try to recall. Okay, so I hope by now you should know which phase are you in as a follower. And similarly, to ride the horse, you have to use 6. Stay committed, stay loyal, and stay aligned to your superior. Now, having said that, I'm not saying that you should blindly be loyal. There's a prerequisite to be able to ride this horse effectively, is that first of all, you must choose the right leader to follow. Once you have chosen the right leader to follow and it's worth following, then please execute according to the way of the horses. Alright, so if you put these two together, the 9 and the 6, that's where we get the art of 9-6, is to be able to follow or to rise as the occasion requires. Alright, so in essence, be adaptable to circumstances. Now, if you have noticed, or in case you have not noticed, if you are able to execute this, the art of 9-6 effectively, basically this is what you're going to notice. Remember these things about the career resilience definition, and we're saying taking responsibility, being agile and constantly evolve, recovering with new insights and personal growth. Can you see how powerful the art of 9-6 is? Because if you're able to execute nicely, effectively, this is what you're going to get. All those lines colored in yellow. Okay, taking responsibility, being at the driver's seat, because you know what to expect, you know what is coming. That is why you're able to adjust yourself, behave yourself in a certain manner, putting you at the driver's seat, and at the same time creating the change, making the change, and adjusting to the change incrementally according to the line as you progress. Alright, and because you know the trapdoors that is associated with each line, you are able to anticipate risk better than others. You are also able to spot trends, and you should be able to turn them into opportunities. Now, if you know what's going to come, and if you know how to turn them into opportunities, you know how to manage them, don't you feel comfortable with change? In fact, you should be happy when the opportunity for change comes along. And in that sense, you have a sense of security in a constantly changing world. Now, when you can do all these things appropriately and correctly at each line, you're actually limiting your own damage. Especially when during turbulent times, you should be able to absorb hard knocks, and you should be able to regroup and bounce back faster than anyone else. And because you know how to adjust yourself accordingly to the 9-6 principles, you have the ability to start feeling better quickly, and you should be able to rekindle your confidence after setback. All you have to do is just to follow whichever line you think you have fall back to. Just follow that dragon or the horse, and then at the same time staying engaged in the midst of shifting challenges. Isn't that powerful, the principle of 9-6? So I hope, whatever it is, I hope you can spend time on this 9-6 principle. Alright, so with this we've covered the art of 9-6, and next is your charismatic work desk. Now this is the part where I think a lot of people will have challenges to get a charismatic work desk. Okay. Let me go through this first. So remember this, a charismatic work desk is not necessarily the one that is visually appealing or the one that is nicely designed, but it is the one that allows you to get connected with the universal energies. Okay, I think, remember I've shown you this picture. Alright, Warren Buffett, look at his desk. Okay, look at his desk. Your current desk, does it look something like this? Or is it the other way around? So regardless of whichever kind of layout your work desk is currently, do not worry. Okay, do not worry. If you already have the one that's similar to Warren Buffett, congratulations to you. But if you don't have, it's okay. Alright, it's okay. So at least for now, you have that knowledge. You have the knowledge to say is that if there's an opportunity for you to pick your work desk, you know what to pick. If you have to go out to the public places to meet your clients or to have a discussion, you know how to pick the seat to sit on. So this is very important. So if you can't have a very good work desk right now, and you can't change it right now, just wait. Just wait, because now you are equipped with this information, with this knowledge. When the opportunity comes, please grab it. Again, it's a choice. Yeah. So I hope you're clear about this charismatic work desk. And then the next thing is to power up your desk. So this part here, whether you have the right work desk or don't have the right work desk, you still need to power up your desk. So for those who are having the right work desk, when you power up, you will see the effect doubling and tripling. But if you don't have the right work desk now, powering up your desk is equally more important. Okay, because if you can't find the right work desk, at least you should be powering up to do what the desk can do for you. So remember this, if you're able to power a work desk, you should be able to help you flip away from all these attributes of low career resiliencies. Yeah, if you can remember from the live event, remember all those directional sectors actually can influence each of these attributes for a very low career resiliency. So if you can recall how to get the center point, how to see your 8 directional sector, is to first of all find the center point of your workspace. For those having a room by yourself, it's easy. Just locate the center of the entire room. And for those who are having cubicles, typically is the spot between how you normally sit and the edge of that work desk. That is the spot. You have to do it, you have to try it, then you know what are the difficulties that you may face. It's easy for me to explain to you like this, okay, but for you to try out could be difficult. Alright, so once you found your center spot, alright, you map out the 8 directional sector. Please get a good reliable compass to do that. Map out the 8 directional sectors. Each sector should be about 45 degrees. Then you have to do is to find out what are the items that's been placed in each of the 8 directional sectors. Okay, you have to determine whether those items that you place there, are they considered the supporters or the blockers. Do you still remember what are supporters and blockers? Okay, so if you can't really remember, I prepared this chart for you. Remember, is that each of the sectors, what are considered blockers? Alright, if you have those blockers in that sectors, and you will know that how are they going to impact you negatively in those career resilience aspect. For example, if East is affected, it may affect your career growth, may affect your development, may affect your drive and motivation, so on and so forth. So what you need to do is to convert the blockers into supporters, right? So this is another table showing the supporters for the various sectors. So basically, to power up is to turn your blockers into supporters. Easy as that. Just a minor movement. You don't have to spend a huge sum of money to buy those ornaments and things like that that say will improve your career resilience, improve your luck and fortune. No need. Okay, no need. All you have to do is make use of your existing items on your work desk, shift them around, convert them into supporters. That's all you need to do. So if you're able to do this, you'll know that actually is helping you to anticipate risk. Remember, if let's say there's a lamp at your east or southeast, you know there's already a risk. There's a blockers there. So if you can shift them away, turn them into supporters, okay, you have already anticipated the risk, you have already limited the risk, alright, and by doing this, you have a sense of security in a constantly changing world. And then at the same time, staying engaged. Alright, please do this. Yeah, I urge you to do this at least. Alright, so I've covered powering up, and the next one will be the outer layer, which is the third layer, and it is time your move. Okay, time your move. By now, I think you should know that actually timing goes in a clockwise direction according to the directional sector. 2018 is at the northwest sector, 2019 is also at the northwest sector. Okay, so you should protect your northwest sector for these 2 years and make sure that there are as little blockers as possible and there are as many supporters in the northwest as possible. That is how you can protect your time. Okay, protect your time through enhancing the space. So if let's say 2018, 2019, there are a lot of supporters and no blockers, you know that will be a good time for you. So if you want to do anything great, you want to achieve your dreams, you want to do big projects, these 2 years will be good. So if let's say there are certain sectors that you can't do anything but there are a lot of blockers there, there's a time where you may want to tone down, be prudent, lie low. If you can, upgrade yourself. So seriously, whatever comes, just don't panic. Just keep calm and feel lucky. So I'm sure if you have done this, I'm sure you have you may experience like this lady in the picture here, pulling hair, because there are a lot of things that you can't do. So the key thing here is to not sweat the small things. Guru once said to me, do not let things that you can't do stop you from doing things that you can. This is really a very good advice. Okay, do what you can. Those things that you can't do, okay, put it aside first, but don't totally forget about it. When there's chance that you can turn it right, do it. Alright, so like I said, if you know of certain timing that is not in your favor, just try to stay in the sweet spot, okay, and upgrade yourself. And you'll find by doing this, you're actually being at the driver's seat. Alright, and creating the change, managing the change, and adjusting to the change incrementally at the right timing. So, and all those things, this is how when you do bit by bit, you know, and how are all these coming together, add up together, contributing to your career resilience. So I've covered this, time your move, alright, and then this part here about frequently expected challenges, this is just a compilation of the frequently challenges that my clients and students may face when they try doing it. Okay, I'm sure some of you may have encountered this as well. Alright, so I hope to cover this here and show you how to deal with them. Now, these are the few. Okay, it's not everything, but these are the most common one. Okay, let's go through. I don't know how to find the center point of my workspace. That's easy. For those who have a room that I mentioned just now, the center point of the room, use that point. If you don't have a room, but you just have a cubicle or just a table, okay, that spot, the center point spot, is usually the spot between where you normally sit and the edge of the table. Okay, that spot, alright, will be the center point. And once you have the center point, place a reliable compass there and mark out the 8 directional sectors. So this number 1 challenge that most people find. Number 2 challenge is it's hard to demarcate the 8 directional sectors. I don't see why this is hard, but I can share with you how I usually do it. So I'll prepare the compass. I'll prepare those yellow label stickers, and I'll prepare a laser pointer. Alright, then I'll get a friend, perhaps a friend, to help me out. So this is how I do it. I find that center point, I'll place that compass. Alright, and then once you align the compass to the north direction, then you use the laser pointer, you mark the boundary of each sector, and ask your friend to use the sticker label to stick, okay, to help you mark out the boundary of each directional sector. And once you have done that, you can actually remove the compass, and even without the compass, you know, okay, anytime you look at the stickers, you know where are the boundaries. So this is that easy. With the laser pointer and the sticker label, it's easy to just mark out the 8 directional sectors. So try it. Alright, try it. Next one is, there are many things I can't move or change. Sure. Alright, sure. I agree with that. There are sometimes there are things that you can't move. For example, a pillar, a cabinet that is not yours to talk about, and sometimes it's just the other part of the space is your colleague's space. It's not your space, so you can't move certain things. I understand this part. Remember the phrase, the advice that a guru gave me just now that I mentioned about that. Okay, don't let things that you can't do stop you from doing things that you can. So for those things, my advice to you is, for those things that you can't do, leave it. For those things that you can do, do it. If you can do 10%, you're already 10% ahead. If you can do 30%, you're 30% ahead. It's better than not doing. So my advice to you on this third challenge is, do what you can, but don't forget that there are certain things that you still can't do right now, but that doesn't mean that you still can't do next time around. There may be opportunities for you to do it. Alright, the next one is, I'm sitting at the work desk with a walkway behind me and I can't change the work desk. Same. If you can't change that part, you can't change. Okay, but bear in mind that when there's an opportunity for you to change, you now know how to pick the right desk to sit. Alright, next one. How can I be more sure that a good timing has arrived? Oh, that's very easy. There are other courses that I've taught to my students. One of it is the I Ching prediction. Okay, this I Ching prediction helps you to make good choices, help you to decide on your next best move. So for example, if you know from your workspace that this year and next year is a good timing for you, and you think you have in mind to execute certain projects, okay, and if you want to know if it's a good timing, I mean if you want assurance that it's a good timing or not, you can always use this I Ching prediction tool to help you get the assurance, because the I Ching prediction tools can also point out to you what are the challenges that you can expect and how you can really overcome them. Remember, everything, there are always two sides. So even though it's in the good timing, even though you're executing, trying to execute a project that you want to do, there are always the good side and the not so good side. Okay, so this I Ching prediction tool can help you flush out all the not so good things side, and from there you're able to know, you can map out the plans and action plans, how to deal with all the not so good things. So the next one, how can I make use of good timing to achieve what I want? Oh, this have to do a lot to do with your intention. So there's another courses that I've been teaching. In fact, there are two. One is the home frequency tuning, which means the I Ching Feng Shui, and the other one is a power intention, where I show you the ways, okay, how to make use of good timing to really manifest and attract what you want. Basically, it's very easy. So know your intention and know the techniques, the hacks, the tricks, what to do, what to place, where to place to achieve what you want. Right? So the last one is, which has higher priority, the back or the left support? Now, I would say both are equally important, but if you have no choice, it's either whether you should have the back or should have the left support, then I would say it's better to have the back support first. I repeat again, it's better to have the back support first. Alright, so that's it. I've covered all these frequently expected challenges, and you will feel it when you have really tried out. So for those who have tried out and have other questions that I've not covered here, so basically these are the frequently expected challenges. I'm sure everyone will encounter some of this, if not all. Alright, so really the key thing here, my advice to you, is to take small steps each time. Okay, small steps each time, and don't let things you can't do stop you from doing what you can. This is the trick. This is a very important trick you should learn. This not only apply on your career resilience, this apply in everything that you do in life. Alright, so with this, I think we covered almost everything. Just a recap. Alright, career resilience is about choosing to take responsibility for your own career and growth, being agile, constantly evolve, and recovering from setbacks with new insights and personal growth. Now, I'm not going to tell you it's going to be easy, but I'm telling you it's going to be worth it. Alright, in the future, you want to be able to look back and see how it all happened. So I'm sure some of you may have other questions that I've not covered here. Alright, so I'll be opening up to the floor. Okay, so take this opportunity to raise your questions. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.